Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm going to show you today how I made this topiary that I found on Pinterest using these three pumpkins that I found at Dollar Tree and using some materials that I already had at home, such as glitter and paint. I had some different foam brushes, and so I really just used things that I had at home and only spent $3 on this project. I also use a dowel rod to connect this at the end. Right here what I'm doing is I'm using some just masking tape, and I am just marking off the bottom of the pumpkin, and I really am just eyeballing it and then making sure that I'm pressing down the tape really well to give a really nice clean mask. And then I just go through with some black paint and paint the bottom of that. Here I'm using a gloss enamel, and I really like the way the gloss enamel looks. And I just put it on a little bit of that wax paper, and I cover the entire bottom portion of this pumpkin. So once this portion is finished, I just set it to the side to let it dry, and then I take a second pumpkin and I am going to paint the entire pumpkin in black. And I also know that since this is going to be the middle part of the topiary, I just take the stem off. It was actually just held on there with the toothpick, so it's very easy to take off, and I just paint the entire pumpkin black. And as I was painting from the top and just like left some little strokes, and I actually thought this looked kind of cool right here. I almost left it by itself, but it kind of looked like Frankenstein hair to me, so I thought that was neat. But I cover the entire pumpkin in the black paint, and then I will set that to the side to dry. And I use my handy dandy baby wipes to clean my hands, because definitely getting some paint on my hands with this activity. And I also use those wipes to just clean it off of my mat. And now I'm going to paint the third pumpkin, and I'm going to use white paint. Again, because I know this is going to be at the bottom of the topiary, I am just taking the stem off, and I have another foam brush, and I'm going to use white paint, and I'm just gonna dip straight into that white paint instead of putting it on the side. And so I just paint and cover the entire pumpkin. And I let the pumpkins dry a bit on their own, but I did help speed up the drying process by using my heat gun. Since this is a foam or styrofoam pumpkin, and acrylic paint, it's really important to move your heat gun very quickly so it doesn't bubble up. And so now I'm just taking the masking tape off of the first pumpkin, and I'm going to go in with my paintbrush and I'm going to paint the rest of the pumpkin white. And I am carefully going in to ensure that I get a really nice, crisp, clean line with that white paint against the black paint. I could have taped on the black paint to give a really nice, crisp line, but I also did not want to peel the black paint up. So I chose to do this all by hand. It did take a little bit longer, but it was worth it to get it really nice and clean. So I just go in and paint the rest of the pumpkin all white. And I leave the stem on this pumpkin since I know I will paint it black and it will be the top of the topiary, but I leave it alone right now and I let these pumpkins dry, and I end up going back in and giving each pumpkin a second coat of paint to ensure that it has a very opaque look and none of the orange is peeking through. So here I'm going in and just painting a little bit of black at the top of the pumpkin and kind of creating a drip effect. I don't have a specific pattern. I'm just kind of going in and freehanding some black paint. I'm going to use this black paint kind of like as an adhesive for the glitter that I'm pouring right here. I actually just mixed 3 different types of glitter. 1 chunky glitter and 2 that are really fine, and I'm using the black paint as an adhesive. At first I thought that I might use Mod Podge to put the glitter on there, but I just end up using the paint, and I just mix up the glitter with my hands and pinch it and kind of sprinkle it throughout, just kind of eyeballing where I think the glitter should go and how low it should go as well. So once I'm finished with the glitter, I go into the black paint with my round foam sponge brush, and I am just using that to stamp circles all over the white pumpkin. And then I'm just using a thin brush to write out the word boo. I start with the O just to have my starting point, and then I do the B and the other O. And I felt like it needed some additional circles since I had those circles on the white pumpkin. And I do go back in and add some little dots at the end of each letter. So now it's time to stack the pumpkins, and I actually had this really thin dowel rod from some variety pack that I had purchased in the past. I don't even remember what I had used it for, but essentially it's just a stick, and I am just pressing it through the foam pumpkins. Since the pumpkins are very lightweight and it's not a very dense foam, it's really easy to push it through. I do end up taking off the stem mainly because it popped off a bit when I put the dowel rod in, but that's okay because I just end up using some hot glue and I just glue that stem onto the pumpkin. So the topiary is all finished. It was a very simple project. It looks really cute. I actually ended up putting it in my kitchen next to our coffee maker. I'm really happy with the way that it turned out, and I think this would be really cute to even add inside a planter if you wanted to. But even on its own, it was really fun and cute. Thanks for joining me. Have a great one. Bye.